Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm from the Physical Activity Specialist team at Better Medway. I'm going to show you some basic exercises today if you need to exercise in a seated position. Just before we start, just to go through some safety aspects with you. First of all, and most importantly, make sure you have a strong, sturdy chair, preferably that is against a wall. What you don't want is that chair moving backwards when you're sitting down on it. So make sure, strong, sturdy chair. The chair I'm using doesn't have arms, but if you prefer, if you feel more secure, you can use a chair with arms, but you might find these get in the way, but it's important that you feel safe. Make sure you've got some water handy if you do need to take a sip of water through the workout. Make sure you're in a well-lit area that's well ventilated, and always an idea to have a telephone quite near to you, just in case you need it. Okay, so we're going to start with the first exercise, and we always start off with a warm-up, which is really important to get your body ready for the main workout. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to hip roll slightly to the front of the chair. This gives me more room to move. If you don't feel stable in this position, it's absolutely fine, just stay back. Try, if you can, to not rest your back into the chair. This is what we do when we're relaxing. And this is what we do when we're working out, okay? So make sure you're using your core muscles all the time. I'm just going to hip roll forward slightly more, okay? And we're going to start off with a march. So just lift each foot, one at a time, and just come up as high as you feel comfortable. Remember, your pace is the right pace. You don't need to go any faster than you feel comfortable. And what we can do with the march is we can start to add some arms if you want to. So just lightly swinging the arms at the same time. Make sure your spine is long and you feel comfortable while you're doing it. Okay, so you can do this for as long as you feel comfortable. It's just until you feel warmed up. So you can make the march a little bit bigger if you want to. And just keep the spine nice and long. Well done. Okay, rest the legs down. Take a little breather. You don't need to rush into the next exercise. But what we're going to do now is a nice shoulder mobilizing exercise to get these shoulders nice and loosened up. So just drop the arms down, long by your sides, and we're going to roll the shoulders back. Around about 10 times. If you feel comfortable. Try to make sure you're really doing a circular movement. Sometimes this can turn into a shrug, okay? And you want to make sure the shoulders are coming up, back, down and forward right the way through. Okay, and then we reverse it and roll the shoulders forward. So that feels really nice to get that movement and mobility into my upper back and into the shoulders. So again, around about 10, but make sure you just do what you feel comfortable with. Good, well done. So I'm just going to keep my feet marching between each exercise. If you need to rest, that's absolutely fine. So we're now going to move into our ankle loosener. So we're just going to mobilise the ankles. So what I'm going to do is just slightly lift one foot and roll the ankle. And again, we do this about 10 times one way, and then 10 times the other. And this is really good for getting the circulation going up through the lower legs. So I'm reversing now and go the other way. Excellent. Change leg when you feel ready. Also, if you're not comfortable lifting the leg while you're doing this, you can keep the heel on the floor and just do a smaller circle. I'm going to lift, because I find that easier. So make sure you do what works for you. And remember, keep the spine long and your shoulders down. Good. Other way. If you need a little bit of stability while you're doing this, you can just hold on to the chair. That's absolutely fine. And well done. Rest that leg down. Good work. Lovely. I'm back to a little march. You can rest if you need to. How are you feeling? Fantastic. So our next exercise is to mobilise and rotate the spine, okay, and just make sure our back's nice and ready. Okay, so feet are planted on the floor this time, round about hip to shoulder width apart. And just make sure they're nice and planted, so you're nice and secure. Then we don't want you toppling out of the chair. So you're going to do, with one hand, hold the side of the chair or the back of the chair. The other hand is going to come round to meet it. Now you might not get all the way round, that's absolutely fine, but just go as far as you feel comfortable. And we come back to the centre, lift the spine, hold on, and follow it round with the other hand. Just imagine somebody's knocking on your window to say good morning, and you want to look over your shoulder to see who it is. We're going to do one more each side. You can do up to 5 of these at each time. And this is the last one. Lift the spine and come back to the centre, and well done. This is a good opportunity to take a sip of water before we carry on. So our next exercise is a wrist strengthener. Now this is also really important for when you're trying to open a jar, or even if you're using the kettle or pouring the teapot. So it's really important we keep our wrist strength nice and strong, and we've got some mobility in the wrists as well. So what I'm going to use is, this is a beautiful and active Medway towel, but you can use a tea towel or an old t-shirt or absolutely anything. And what I'm going to do is roll it up. Now I'm purposely going to use my fingers to roll it up, because this is good for dexterity, so when we're trying to pick things up. So this is part of the exercise. So I'm going to take the towel and I'm going to roll it up. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, just give it a nice roll up, and then walk your hands into the middle a little bit. And from here, I'm going to squeeze as if I'm wringing it out really, really tightly, as much as you can, and relax. And you can do both ways, or you can just do one way. Don't let it get too complicated. It's just really as long as you're using those wrists and really, really doing that as tightly as you can. And you can hold it. Okay, just make sure you're really doing that as well as you can. And I'm going to do one more. And you can do this again about 5 times on each side. And then I'm going to use the fingers again to unroll. Fantastic, lovely. And I was keeping a nice upright position throughout that, didn't fall asleep. Okay, so you now have an option as to whether or not you could maybe pick up some light hand weights. I'm going to use bottles of water. If you don't want to use these, it's absolutely fine. So again, just going to hip roll to the front of the chair a little bit and let my hands swing down to the sides. And just gradually, like a pendulum, keeping the arms long and straight, just start swinging the arms. So really be careful you haven't got anything around you that you can bash your hands on for this one. But just take the arms and maybe go a little bit further every time. And take the arm back as well as forward. It's just as important to go backwards as well as forward. And you can take this up as high as you feel comfortable, or you can keep it low and controlled. And again, the hand weights are optional. I'm using bottles of water, and I particularly like bottles of water as hand weights because they're easy to grip. And I can take some water out if they're too heavy. Try to avoid using tins of beans if you can. They're not so easy to grip and can cause an injury if you drop one on your foot. So our next exercise is the pelvic floor strengthener. Some of you might find that you get some urgency to go to the toilet, and that can be quite stressful. So this exercise is really important for both men and women, that we make sure we concentrate on that pelvic floor strength. It's very difficult for me to demonstrate because you actually won't be able to see what I'm doing, but just try and join in with me if you can. So what we're going to do is again sit with our feet shoulder width apart, planted on the floor, and the spine's nice and long. And if you feel that you need to hold on, that's absolutely fine. Try to avoid the slump. Okay, so sitting nice and tall. And what I want you to do, I want you to picture as if you're sitting on the toilet and you wanted to stop the flow. Now it's front and back, so you need to concentrate for this one. So I just want you to picture that now, and we're just going to hold, lift and breathe and relax. If you've not done this before, it's quite difficult, but it does get easier as you practice it. So I would recommend you start with once or twice and try and build it up to something above 10, and do it as often as you can. This can be done while you're at a bus stop, at the kitchen sink, or just watching television. So we're going to just go through that again. So sit with a nice tall spine, feet are planted, and we're going to think about those muscles and stop the flow and hold and breathe and relax. Well done, good work. It's more difficult than it looks, so keep practicing. Our last exercise is our leg strengthener. So again, sitting tall in a good position. And if you want to hold on to the sides here, it's absolutely fine. What I'm going to do is just lift my foot off the floor. Doesn't need to come higher than thigh height. Okay, so just lift and lower. Repeat on the other side, and lift and lower. Okay, good. Now make sure the tummy's staying in as well, so you're using those tummy muscles. So again, we're going to lift and lower. One more. Again, you can do this up to 5 times, and you can start thinking about holding it a little bit longer each time. I'm back to marching on the spot. Well done. We're just going to finish with a few stretches now. Make sure you're sitting on a nice secure chair with a wall behind you and you feel secure. Again, try not to slump into the chair while you're doing the stretches. So the first one is a chest stretch, and I'm going to take my hands and grab the back of the chair and lift your rib cage, and at the same time take some nice deep breaths and release. And one more. And release. And we'll hold each of these stretches for around 10 to 15 seconds. It really is up to you how long you hold it for. And you can repeat these through the day. I'm going to hip roll forward now. We're going to do a nice leg stretch. So this time I'm going to slide one leg forward. This leg is securely planted, foot nice and flat on the floor. I'm going to take both hands onto that bent leg and lift tall and travel forward. And you're going to feel a nice stretch coming down through the back of the leg. And just hold it for as long as you feel comfortable and come back up. I'm going to do it on the other side. So this time my hands are on the bent knee this side. Extend the leg out, sit tall, travel forward, and feel that lovely stretch down through the back of the leg. Make sure you're not holding your breath while you're doing any of these stretches. The last stretch is for our calves on the back of our legs. So holding onto the chair if you feel more secure. I'm going to slide one leg out in front, and you're going to bring the toe back as if you was bringing it all the way back to your knee. And really pull it back, and you'll feel that lovely stretch through the lower part of the leg. And hold it. And change legs. Just slide the leg forward, sit tall, and bring the toe back as far as you can. A little bit more if you can manage it. And relax. And well done.